Hi, my name is Darren from HCJ.tax, and we're the team that seeks to demystify that sometimes confusing world of international tax. And today we have the honor and privilege of speaking with George. George, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Darren. My name is George Dimov. I'm a certified public accountant, and I have a team of 14 senior professionals. And what we do is the same type of thing: demystify taxes as much as possible, and with a focus in international and typically complex situations.
Fantastic.
People that might not necessarily be extremely high income, but are quote unquote working rich. Have
Yeah.
you seen a lot? And I noticed this is one of your topics that came up in online with the digital nomad visas, specifically
Mhm.
on some of your conversations in the past. Where did you leave off on that? What do you have any thoughts on that and on the Europe side, or what do you think?
It was, I think the whole digital nomad thing, it goes back to, I'd say, the late 90s, where there were some books that were published that were foretelling this disconnect of physical location from economic activity, driven by that what was then a very nascent internet, right? They were able to see what would happen. Now that has to some extent occurred. Definitely, it reached it probably hit a crescendo during the COVID years, where people were at home and then they can go anywhere they want. But of course, there are tax implications, etc. In terms of the jurisdictions, there are jurisdictions that seem to have benefited from it. Of course, many of them did jump on the bandwagon. I think I lost count at probably like 50 or 60 something jurisdictions that offered some variant of a digital nomad visa. But having one on offer and it generating decent return on investment because the government bureaucracy, there's marketing. Did you get the number of people to warrant in launching that initiative? I think the jury may be out. And I think the existence of a visa or the immigration possibility of living and working in these jurisdictions didn't outshine just the general attractiveness of a jurisdiction, regardless of whether or not a jurisdiction offered it. If it was an attractive jurisdiction, people wanted to go there, they figure out a way in. Legally, of course, right? Because they can afford to, right? Because, they have the means. I don't think the nomad visa put anyone on the map that necessarily didn't deserve to be there otherwise. In that regard, I think in the Caribbean, Barbados really stands out. But Barbados was always an attractive jurisdiction. It was always at the upper end. It was never like a dom rep, Dominican Republic, or Cancun. It was always, the nickname for Barbados in the Caribbean is Little Britain, which shows their target demographic. So therefore, with or without the visa, they were going to win, right? And as I think you mentioned, there's a swing. Everyone has their time in the sun. So Costa Rica and Panama, they had their moments. Their moments have gone, and now and for those with means, Spain and Portugal, hands down, it is what it is. And for us, what is a surprise when we started, because we set up an office in Portugal and Lisbon during the COVID years, and we to some extent rode that wave, is France. So France, Spain had the Beckham law, Portugal had the NHR. France has nothing, but it's France. It's France. So for high net worth families, the Riviera in Paris, it is what it is. They don't need to do anything because of the attractiveness of the jurisdiction as a whole. So I can go on and continue to comment, but I think the point is digital nomad, it's great fodder for social media, but as to whether it drives traffic, I would propose no, and rather what the sophisticated higher income earners looking at is the overall attractiveness of the jurisdiction, the cuisine, the nightlife, the theater, the culture, the crime rate. Low crime is always good, just the amenities that you've come to enjoy. You don't want to give that up just because someone offers a visa and a tax break, right? So
And it's interesting because people do move in bandwagons, and you
Yeah.
said I saw the same thing with Costa Rica specifically, but also Panama, just kind of slowly or I wouldn't even say slowly shifting. It was like, I remember something like 7, 8 years ago, somebody said Portugal, and I said, what an interesting place to move. I had a client that was consulting on that, and it was maybe the first time I heard about it. And then all of a sudden, a few years ago, it's just in waves. Everybody in waves was in Costa Rica. There were even whole communities and whole investment. I'm using the word schemes, not in a, you know, where somebody has bad interest in mind, but there was investment schemes for Costa Rican building real estate for North Americans to go live in Costa Rica. And this was a major boom. And now it's turned into Spain and Portugal. And yeah, I have seen some France as well. They don't really need to advertise. Like the South France is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
George, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
My website is a great way. You can go on our website, which is Dimov Tax. It's my last name. That's EIMOV tax.com. Or you can send an email directly at info@dimovtax.com. Those are two great ways to get in touch with us. We also have a phone number. You can also call us. And the best phone number is 833-829-1120. That's +1 833-829-1120.
Fantastic. Thank you.